Just start with whatever you say.
Yeah, proud of our effort. Proud of taking one of the top teams in the league to overtime. It's really, really good rebounder in Macy McGlone. You know, for us to win the glass by 1, I think that was a big tackle for us. And we've been talking a lot about that, rebounding the basketball, and you put yourself in position to win a game if you win the glass. So we did that tonight, and it wasn't easy. You know, I think Bree had her hands full for 36 minutes. Is that the most minutes you ever played? Yeah. And so I think there's just a few plays down the stretch that you wish, you know, the ball would have bounced our way, or, you know, a couple untimely turnovers, unfortunately. And so, you know, just an experience we got to learn from. We got a quick recovery here, a big week next week, so trying to get some confidence here Thursday going into next week.
I feel like you guys give Macy McGlone a lot of problems. She ends up getting her points.
Yeah.
And her rebounds. But it's not easy for her when you guys play her. What's the game plan? Like, what do you, maybe don't spell it out for others to, but what is it about your defense that makes it a little more difficult for her?
Yeah, I think we're just packing the paint a lot. We're making things difficult on her catches. Bree did a great job, I think, of pushing her off the block. You know, she shot numerous, you know, fadeaway jump shots, which I think we'll take any day. You know, and she's a handful on the glass, like crashing the glass and being underneath the rim, and being really physical. So, you know, she did a really nice job of keeping her off the glass. Rory had a few minutes in there as well. You know, and it's a team effort when there's a really good player like that. A player of the year in any league is going to take a full team to guard her and to work to stop her. You know, obviously Rouse had a good outing. You know, and I just think if a few of those jumpers don't go down, I think this is a different story that we're talking about right now.
Coach, you guys cut it to 6 at the halftime break, or 5 at the halftime break. What do you say in that locker room to ultimately come back from a 13-point deficit? Yeah,
just that we need to go into the third quarter with confidence and have a better start than the game. I don't know that our start of the game was great. And so we said, hey, we won a quarter, they won a quarter. And so now it's winning time. It's time to really focus and lock in on, on continuing to cut the deficit. And that happens with defense and rebounding. You know, that side of the basketball, we've definitely got to value. We've got to have some urgency on that side of the ball, and understand how important it is to stop teams, to hold a pretty good team under 70, and even in regulation, that's an under 60 game right there. And while our offense maybe wasn't clicking as it has been the last week or 2 weeks, we showed some really good fight on the defensive side of the ball, which I think that we've been missing. We have to put those two things together, obviously, and for a full 40 minutes. But again, they're tied for first in the league for a reason, and they've got a lot of experience. They've got a lot of scoring power. So.
We talk about 40 minutes a lot with you. That's something you hit on. What did you learn about your team with that aspect of it?
That we're getting closer. It's like every week it's like 36, and then it's like 37, and today it's like 41. So like I think we have a game like a Thursday, like a next week, and we like do it and we put the 40 together and we're like clicking on all cylinders on both sides of the ball. I think that's really going to take us to another place. We're going to feel what that means and what that feels like, and we're going to be able to repeat it, and we're going to be able to be consistent with it. And I know I've been talking about like a full 40 minutes, but like that's like a player too. That's the kind of game this just was. Like, one of Sylvie's shots goes in, one of her jumpers or one of her teardrops goes in, and like we win this in regulation. So it's so difficult to talk about a full 40 because this one was really, really close to a full 40, I would say.
I want to go back to, we talk about Macy McGlone, but your team out-rebounded them. You out-rebounded them 41-40, and everyone got involved. You look down the list, everyone was rebounding in this game. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, we knew she was going to be a handful just in terms of getting a body on her and keeping her out of the paint. And so I thought we did a pretty good job of that. And then we had other players go get balls. KK had seven rebounds total. Like that's awesome for, both of these two that are sitting here, Stoller, KK, like 5'6" guards, 7, 5, 4, like that's really important to our success and what we're trying to do. And then we got a little bit from everybody. Like we had 16 offensive rebounds. I know like 4 of them are kind of like loose ball rebounds, but like that's us crashing. That's us creating more offense for ourselves, especially on a night like tonight where like it's a little harder to score. Like they're a really good defensive team. They've got someone in like McGlone in the paint that can just sit there and can block shots and be there to protect the rim. And so for us, like creating more possessions was really important. Jaden Bryant got 2 huge offensive rebounds, you know, in regulation down the stretch. It just creates so much for everybody.
There were a lot of turnovers too from the press that you called. Talk about how you guys were able to rotate and communicate during that.
Yeah, I think we just did a really great job of like reading each other and getting to the right spots. Like we run this, you know, pretty consistently throughout games, and like it's all about getting to the right position. You know, like the ball's not on your side, you're taking the middle. You know, now the ball's on your side, now you got to go and you got to get ready for a trap with your top person, which was normally Jaden. You know, so and she just did a great job of like getting deflections, making things difficult, making their guards like think for a second. You know, and then it helps just now you're on the other side of the floor and you only got to defend for 15 seconds or 12 seconds or 13 seconds when they get their offense started. You know, which makes it even more difficult. Now they're like trying to get a shot with 5 seconds left, and that's where some of these like fadeaway jumpers came from them, which I thought was really good for us. And so we made it hard all night.
Question about Macy Sylvie. She's been so money over the last 6 games. One of the things I have noticed, she'll score some points in that first half. What are we seeing in the second half? Because they kind of shut her down, the opponents have kind of shut her down a little bit more in the second half as opposed to the first half.
Yeah, I think they're just way more conscious. They're way more, you know, aware of her coming off screens. You know, they're not just running into screens. They're really tagging her. They're not giving her a lot of space. And again, when you have someone like McGlone who can like literally sit in the paint and block shots, it makes it really hard for our drivers, for our players that are off the dribble to like get to the rim. You know, but still, I think that her being on the floor just spaces everything for everybody, allows people to get a piece of the paint, you know, allowed KK to go get a layup. Like Macy's on the other side of the floor. In regulation, she makes that layup because Macy's on the other side of the floor. If Macy Sylvie, if she's not on the other side of the floor, someone just comes over and helps and takes away KK's layup. Like she gets to refuse and go to the basket and get a wide open layup because of that, you know, and that's huge.